All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We're here for the Challenge Roth 2026 call. We got a ton of different coaches on here, athletes who've raced it before, a lot of athletes hungry for knowledge. So exciting. I'm Coach Jim Lubinsky. We're all with Tower 26 here. We got Coach Eli Teppenberg, Coach Rach McBride, Coach Cindy Kramer, and yeah, who knows who else is going to come on? I'm not sure. We invited a ton of people, but there's a lot of on-course experience, athletes who've raced this before. What we've done is we put together a PowerPoint with a bunch of detail. You guys going to Europe, a lot of you guys going to Germany for the first time, racing in Europe for the first time. There's some things you have to take into account. We'll talk about some equipment that you guys need to remember to bring. Um, yeah, let's make sure everybody. One thing I want to start off with, make sure you know how to change a tire, whether you have tubeless or tubes, you know how to change the tire, right? Everybody be practicing that. We saw what happened in Hamburg last weekend. We don't want that a flat tire to ruin your race or multiple flat tires to ruin your race. So let's make sure you guys, I want to put that out there right away. You know how to change your tire. All right. I don't think that we put that in the presentation, Eli. So practice it now, look over it
Important.
now, make sure you have the flat change stuff on your bike, and you know how to do that. There will be course support out there, but if that's something you can get going before the course support comes to help you, you're going to be head up on somebody else who might get a flat tire. So know how to do that. You're going all the way over there. You don't want to ruin your day because you get a flat. That being said, Eli, this is Eli, Coach Eli. He's going to kind of lead the call, but I'll be here to pipe in. If you guys have questions, just write them in the chat, or we're a family here, unmute. If you guys are listening to this after the fact, you can either write it in the WhatsApp group, you can write it on YouTube, and we will get the question answered, get right back to you with the answer to the question. But like I said, we have a lot of athletes on this call right now, or coaches on this call who have raced Roth in the past. So don't be afraid to ask questions. We're gonna try and give you guys a heads up on things to look out for. I had a bunch of athletes over the 20 years I've been coaching race, and I've taken some notes from them, so we'll share those. But Eli, what do you got?
All right, let's get the show started here.
Let's open it up.
I'll share my screen with you guys.
All right.
And there we go. Everybody see that all right?
Yeah, we got it.
All right.
Like I said, as
So
soon as something comes on your mind, just don't hesitate. Reach out, either write in the chat or unmute, and we'll get to it.
yeah, we'll
Sorry.
talk.
There
All
you go.
right. There's that instruction. All right. So here's our race plan. You guys should have a race plan in mind. You should know what you're going to be doing that day. And if you don't have something to help you organize your thoughts about your race plan, you can email Jim here at its email address here and get a copy of this race plan that we use at Tower 26 to make your plan for the day.
So in that race plan, we fill out all the detail, right? There's course detail, things you want to remember, your nutrition detail, how often, what you're going to use, how often you're going to use it, and then execution detail. How are you going to execute the swim? How are you going to execute the bike? How are you going to execute the run? What are the ranges you're going to be in? What are you going to feel? And then we talk about mindfulness. We talk about where's your mind going to go when things start to go south, when things start to go north. We talk about all that. So at least when things go awry on race day, you have this foundation to fall back on. So it's especially the longer the distance goes, the more important it is to fill out one of these race plans so you have an idea, a blueprint as to how the day is going to go. Thanks, Eli.
Perfect. Okay, so this is your race day checklist. You guys should have checklists already by now, but want to make sure you have your triathlon kit, what you're going to be racing in that day. Obviously, it's going to be worn either under your wetsuit or swim skin, and we'll talk more about that when we talk about the swim. It's a good idea to have two sets of goggles and obviously wetsuit and swim skin since we don't know what's going to happen. The history of Roth is mixed. It's 40 years of wetsuit swims, and last year was the first non-wetsuit swim. Obviously, some, body glide, Vaseline, whatever you use as a lubricant with your wetsuit and all those hot spots that you get on your body.
Can I recommend Vaseline, Eli? Can I say load your neck up with Vaseline, guys, all over? You don't want to get 2,000 meters into an Ironman swim and have any chafing. That to take your mind off the swim because you'd be thinking about how bad your neck is burning. Vaseline all the way, load it all around your neck, put it on your cheeks, put it on your nose, put it anywhere any rubbing is going to happen, and really be very liberal with how you use it because the chafing could really, really derail your mindset. So Vaseline, Glide is going to say, oh, use that, forget it. Use the diesel strength. Go with Vaseline all over.
Yeah. So, some people actually put some of this stuff on the outside of their wetsuit around the ankles and around the wrists. So when you're turning your suit inside out to pull it off, it slides off a little easier.
Yep.
It helps with that as well.
Nipples, underarms, all those spots. Liberally use it.
All right, continuing. Obviously, a bike. I don't know if anybody's going to be renting bikes for this race. I know that they do have quite a few bike rental companies there. If you're bringing a bike, make sure you pack it up right and bring everything you need along with your bike. Obviously, your helmet, cycling shoes, socks, your race belt. We're talking about the race belt. You're going to have to wear your bib number and race belt during the bike segment and the run. So you have to have that on. Sunglasses, water bottles, nutrition. We're going to be talking more about nutrition as we get on. And a toolkit. Jim mentioned being able to change a tire. You also have to have all the gear that you need to be self-sufficient to be able to do that out there on the course. Can't wait for bike support to come and help you.
Beautiful. Good.
Running shoes, race belt. Okay, we talked about the race belt. You'll have that on for the bike. Sunglasses, a hat and visor, and nutrition. We're going to be talking a lot more about nutrition before we're done tonight. Additional stuff, your timing devices, heart rate monitors, again, Body Glide if you needed sunscreen. There'll be opportunities both in T1 and T2 to get sunscreen put on. The volunteers there are amazing. We'll talk more about that. Electrical tape. This is again for your toolkit. Great thing to have along with you in case anything decides to loosen up or break or something that's loose. You could just throw a piece of electrical tape on. It can save the day. A change of clothes for after the race. And we'll talk more about the packing of the bags as we get into this.
Hey, Eli, what's your history at Roth?
What's my history?
Yeah. Have you just coached athletes? Have you raced it? What have you done? Tell these guys.
I've raced. Last year was my first time there. My only time there was last year, and what an amazing experience! It's definitely a bucket list race, and it's unlike anything you've ever done before if you haven't done Roth before. It's very different from the Ironman experience, and it's an amazing day. It is a challenging course, although it's a fast course. You know, bike records, run records have been broken there. The Ironman, record time, fastest time has been raced in Roth, and despite the challenges of the course,
I just
and
wanted I wanted these guys to know that it's fresh in your mind. You just did it, right? So if they have
yeah,
questions about things that are on their mind, like don't hesitate. Like we have the Rach has been there multiple times, going there again this year. Cindy's been there. So guys, reach out as things come in your mind. All right,
yeah.
what's next?
All right, so we're getting into the schedule here. This is Friday's schedule. This is the first opportunity that you'll have to do a swim in the canal. The only times you'll be able to do the swim is between 6:30 and 9 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. That is the practice swim times. I did the swim on Friday last year. There's a lot of people in there, but you really will get a feel for it, and you'll be able to scope it. Getting there early in the morning, this is when you're going to be racing, so you'll be able to scope out the sun angle and know if that's going to be a factor or not. And most likely, it will not be a factor. But that's the time for you to get into the water there and check that out.
Beautiful. So
There's a
I think everybody should partake in that, and I think RaceQuest will have you guys go there as a group. But I think that's definitely something all you guys should partake in, just so you know the feel of what it's going to be like when you're in there on race day.
Absolutely. There are some other things happen. There's a lot of things happening that this is the schedule, and you all see that on their website. There's a lot of things happening in the athlete village there in the expo. I did not go to the carbo load party last year, but that is an option. But I understand, Jason, and Augie, that we have another event happening probably at the same time. Uh,
Yeah, we'll be celebrating the United States 250th all together. So if you need any information on our big dinner, you can contact me or Augie. So we'll all be in it together to celebrate.
it'll be fun. All right.
No Budweiser that night, though. Come on. Save it for Sunday.
All right, so here we are on Sunday. This is where it's all going to happen. 6:30 a.m. start. Some of you should have gotten an email. Most of you should have gotten emails today with your race numbers. And if you got your race number, you'll be able to figure out what your wave start is. If you haven't, we can talk more about that. I can tell you that I got mine, so I know that the numbers have gone out, and you'll be able to figure out your start time. There's a finish line party on the schedule here, which is truly an amazing event in itself, worth being at Roth for just for that party. So let's go on from here. All right, so here's your start waves. The waves, so it's first pro men, pro women, and then the age group racers start. And the waves are approximately 150 to 250 athletes per wave, and they're about 5 minutes apart. And when we talk a little bit more about the swim course, we'll talk about how this actually all happens. But they get everybody in the water pretty fast. And the relays there, they'll be starting last. Sorry, Cindy, Kathy, Jim, you'll be in those last waves. All right, for Saturday's bike check-in. So you guys are familiar, hopefully you're familiar with Ironman bike system, bike bag system, run bag. The colors are a little different here. Roth uses red for the bike bag and blue for the run bag. So all of these bags, the red bag, the blue bag, and the green bag will have to go with you to bike. I'm sorry, the red bag and the blue bag both have to go with you to bike check-in on Saturday. So when you check in your bike, both your run and bike bags go to bike check-in. They will transfer your run bag to T2, but you have to bring it on Saturday when you check in your bike. We could talk more if you have
Okay.
questions.
Noted.
Yeah, we could talk
Noted.
more about that if you
Bring
have questions about it. All right,
so you're
so
bringing all your gear plus your bike on Saturday.
everything on Saturday. Yeah.
Everything
So
goes to transition on Saturday.
yeah, and then so here in this transition map for T1, you see the swim start, and it goes. You're going up. There's a bridge at the end. You're going to turn around, come back, and then you're going to come out here. And if you could see where my cursor is on the screen, this red line leads to the transition changing tent, and on this red line is where your red gear bag is going to be. So it's just on the ground. Unlike Iron Man that has those metal racks that you hang your bags on, these bags will just be on the ground. They have numbered signs, so you'll be, in a specific numbered area to put your red bag. But as you come out of the water here, you'll want to shout out your race number, and the volunteers, which are really amazing, will have your bike bag ready for you. You'll run into the changing tent and then change in the changing tent, come out the other side of the changing tent and run to your bike. And then the rest is like you've done before. But it's a very fast transition. It's a very fast in and out. You don't have a long run to the mountain line. It's all very compact, very fast. Okay, Sunday race day. I believe if you're with Race Quest or Try Travel, one of these groups, if not, you're going to, handle your breakfast on your own. But if you are with one of the groups, they start as early. I think they start their breakfast as early as 3:30 in the morning. So, obviously you probably have practiced what you eat on race morning, but easily digestible carbs. I do the oatmeal. That's my go-to breakfast. bananas, gummies, these are the things you could eat before the start of the race. Uh, Start on your first bottle of hydration, whatever hydration you're using. We use precision hydration, and that's where you're going to get your electrolytes in before the start of the race. Um, Once you get to the race venue, you're going to you make sure your bike is set up right, check the air in your tires, get your computer set. If you're calibrating your power meters, whatever you need to do to get your bike set up your transition area. When we do the bike check-in on Saturday, you have to leave your helmet on the bike. The helmet will not go into the red bag. It has to stay on your bike overnight. And that's not on the ground, but on the bike. They want to keep the ground clean, so your helmet has to be on the bike
And
overnight.
you have to wear your helmet into transition when you're dropping your bike off. Like you have
Right.
your sticker on your helmet and you have to wear the helmet as you go in the transition to drop the bike off. That's a European thing.
Yes, and then obviously it will stay on your bike once you rack your bike on Saturday.
So we're going to talk about this a lot as this call goes on, but pH 1500 precision hydration, if you guys are not familiar with that, I put the link in the notes. You guys got to start using that now. There's nothing like it out there. Precision hydration 1500 if you're a super salty sweater, if you're a moderate sweater, you use the pH 1000, but that's something that all you guys should be using. You should start using it now. Start getting used to it now. So then on race day, you get a bottle of that in before the start, and then that's your go-to electrolyte throughout the race because there's no other product on the market that gets into your system like the precision hydration one does. All Ironman courses have it now, but it's something that we've swore by for years now. And if it's something you're not familiar with, get familiar with it right now because not having the right electrolytes, especially in the exposed sun, which Rach is going to talk about in a bit, in the heat, the gravel, the dust, those electrolytes are going to be key. This keeps them topped off. So click on that link, use TW26 to get whatever it is, 20, 30%. I don't even know how much it is off, but a discount. Get your 1500 and start using it right now.
Hey,
That's my
Jim.
soapbox. Yeah.
Jim, I didn't think that Roth was using
They
precision.
aren't. They aren't. They're not. I'm saying Ironman events do. You bring your own precision with you. You can use their stuff as a supplement on course, but
Okay,
be prepared to use your own pH
sure.
that you bring with you. That's all we got to get it right now. Start using it so you'll have it come race day and you'll be able to use it on the bike and in the run, and then supplement any if you need it with their aid stations.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about what they have on course and how you can integrate that.
Right.
Um, make sure back in T1 before the start of the race, make sure you know how to get to your bike out when you're coming out of the changing tent and how you're going to get your bike from there to the mountain line. So, find something that is not moving so you can nail down your path and know exactly how you're going to get around in transition. The On Sunday morning when you bring your after race, your morning gear bag, you'll also have to drop that bag 30 minutes before the start of your swim. They have a truck near the swim start, and you're going to bring that green bag to that truck and put it in the truck, and it'll be waiting for you at the finish line. So that has to happen on Sunday morning.
Perfect. Everybody got that?
So I mentioned this already, know where your bike is and how you're going to get around in there. Remember that your race belt has to be worn with the number showing on your back for the bike. Okay, and then get to that mountain line and let's get going.
Just remember, did we talk about racking the bike? When you rack the bike, look, and even in the morning before the race, look, swim in to bike out, and look at something that's a stagnant object that you know your bike is close to, whether it's a tree or a outhouse, something that's not going to move. Because when you come in from the swim and you're all discombobulated, going from horizontal to vertical, and you're running, you're trying to find your bike, you don't have to look for a bike amongst 4,000 other bikes. You know, hey, my bike is in alignment with that tree or that gazebo or whatever the hell it is. You can run to that tree and you know your bike is going to be right there. So find a stagnant object, something that you can run to as opposed to just looking at a sea of however many thousand bikes.
Yeah, and from my memory, just looking at the picture here on the slide, I don't believe that you can put anything on the ground like a towel to mark your spot. So just keep that in mind. They don't want anything on the ground. So if you're not going to have your pedals, most of us will not. I don't know if anybody does a mount
You're
with
not.
their shoes on their pedals. Your shoes are going to be in that red bag when you check that red bag on Saturday. Your
Yeah, it's a
bike shoe.
clean transition. There'll be nothing on the ground.
Eli, do they allow shoes on the bikes? I know some races will allow
Yes,
it.
yes, they allow shoes on the bikes.
Let me tell you
So
something, guys. We're not going shoes on the bike. Put your shoes in the bag, put them on in transition, and then go run out with your shoes on. You look like a penguin for a little bit, but don't put your shoes on the bike. It's too much of a hassle. It just slows you down. Just put them in your bag and
For
put
those
them
of
on.
us who get on the bike without stepping on the pedal, we need to do that.
Stepping on the pedal. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah. All right. Again, this is the transition course one more time. So you could see the red arrows. You're going to find your bike, find the row your bike is in. You're going to come here. You're going to make a right-hand turn, come down, make a left along this road, and this is where your mount line is going to be. Okay, and then when you're coming out, this is a paved road right here. You're going to come out. You're going to make a quick right and another quick right, and you're going to be going up over a little bridge with a little incline. We'll talk more about this when we talk about the course itself, the bike course.
Hey, Eli, what do you do with your swim gear when you're done with it, when you get in the T1?
Yeah, so the red bag will be, your wetsuit is going to go, or swim skin is going to go back in that red bag, and then the volunteers are going to take that, and that'll get transported to the finish.
Thanks for asking that, Tony.
Yeah.
And Eli, what is is that like pavement? Like what's the ground like?
Where the transition area, sorry, the transition area itself is all grass. It's not sand, it's grass. It's pretty clean. As soon as you get to where my cursor is right now, this is a paved road.
Okay,
Okay, so this is paved from here, but this whole transition area is grass.
cool. Thank you.
All right. It's pretty clean. I can't remember if there's a carpet here when you run out, but it's very clean, very, very straightforward. Nothing to worry about as far as, feeling like you're going to get sand in your feet. It's not a sandy type of swim scenario.
Are there wetsuit peelers?
I don't
Rach,
remember. I
oh,
don't remember
Rach
that.
said no. Rach said no.
Yeah, but I will say that the volunteers are in the changing tents and they are helping everywhere. So they're helping you with your gear. They're hands on there a lot. You're going to have a lot of support from their volunteers throughout the whole race.
Use the volunteers, guys. You need something, yell at them. Say, hey, can I get a cup of water? Or can I get some sunscreen? Or whatever it is, use the volunteers. Like, feel free. That's why they're there.
Yeah, they're truly amazing, the volunteers. All right, so swim course. So like I said, the swim starts at 6:30 a.m. With the male pros and the female pros, and then the age group starts, and then finally the relays. About 5 minutes between waves. You're going to enter the water, and when you enter the water, in the middle of the canal, the water's too deep to stand up in. So it's 5 minutes. You're going to be in the water for 5 minutes before your wave starts. So depending on how you feel about treading water or swimming around in those 5 minutes before the start of the race, that's up to you. But if you do not want to tread water and you'd rather stand, if you move to the shoreline, to the side of the canal, it's shallow enough that you can actually stand there and wait for that last minute or last 30 seconds before they let you go. The way they start you is it's an in-water start, and they have a rope across the water there, and then you're going to swim under the rope. So when the horn sounds, they're going to lift that rope up, and you're going to be swimming out underneath it. 2.4 mile swim. Water temp mid 70s. That would be nice. Like I said, thanks to Weather change, last year it was not a wetsuit swim. I haven't gotten any current water temps for the canal right now, so they'll be posting those as we get closer to the race itself. They'll start to post water temperature, so we have an idea of what's trending and what might happen for race day. But be prepared for both a wetsuit and a non-wetsuit swim. 280-degree left turns. So you're swimming out about I think it's about 1,500 meters to the first turn. And then once you make that turn, you probably have another 1,900 meters back towards the start and finish of the swim. And then you're going to go underneath the bridge. And this is epic. This swim course is unbelievable. Take it in because there's so much happening at the start of the race. There's hot air balloons. There are literally thousands of people watching the start of this race. They're all lined up across the bridge. It is, it's a mind-blowing experience to do this swim. And as you're swimming, sighting is pretty easy, as it says there on the slide. You can use the wall for sighting. There's going to be people there. You're going to see people waving and cheering along as you're swimming along the side of the course. So you'll have plenty to sight on. It's very easy to navigate. The sun should not be a factor in the direction that you're swimming and that time of the morning, so it should not really be an issue. But be prepared with, a couple of different sets of goggles so you have what you need for that day. Another thing that you're going to figure out when you do the practice swim, either on Friday or Saturday or both. Okay, next.
Rach, let's tap in the race
Yep.
for a second. Rach has done this twice. You guys are in for a treat here. Rach came on, done it twice. You're doing the relay this year. Am I right? That's what you said.
It's true. Yep. I'm swimming the swim course.
So we got some
No kidding.
we got some swim notes next, but what's your 2 cents on the swim course?
Yeah, I mean, like EJ said, it's pretty epic. The morning is amazing with all of the hot air balloons going off. With the swim, I have had both a wetsuit and a non-wetsuit swim there. So for sure, I would concur with being prepared for both. And I know that I was just about to look this up. There is a current in the canal. And if swimming closer to the sides of the canal is faster with the current direction. I just don't recall exactly what direction it is flowing in. I'm assuming that it is flowing from east to west, but we can confirm on that. Maybe you guys already have notes on that. And that, yeah, the sun isn't a factor in terms of the swim.
Okay, good. So let's say some of these guys are freaked out that it's not going to be wetsuit. Can you give them, we're about a month out. What are some things they should focus on in the next 4 weeks that's going to help them feel better in a non-wetsuit swim versus a wetsuit swim, Rach?
I mean, I think that, the vast majority of the swimming that we do is not in a wetsuit. So you're really used to swimming without a wetsuit. I think that a lot of tri-suits these days are made pretty well that you don't necessarily need to have the fancy swim skin to go over top. If you've got it, great. It is going to be a little bit faster, but even so, it's not a big deal. It happens. The great thing is that we can be prepared for it, just like mentally. And yeah, just remember that all of the swimming that you have been doing is non-wetsuit for the most part, unless you're a strange person who is 100% open water in a wetsuit all the time.
We're all strange, aren't we?
Yeah,
all right, well said.
yeah.
Yeah, just remember to relax. Just remember to swim the way you swim every workout, and you guys will be great.
And remember, there's still a lot of support in the water. There's surfboards, there's boats in the water. There's plenty of support along the course. And remember that the sides of the course are shallow. If you are in an emergency situation, you can move to the edge of the course. You could probably find ground that you can stand on. You could stop, rest, and then continue if you had that kind of an emergency in the water.
Beautiful.
Hey, Rach,
Yeah.
I have one question really quick, please.
Mhm.
Rach, can you repeat what you said about the current, whether when you're swimming into or with the current, is it better to be in the middle or on the edge? I always forget that with Salem.
Yeah, yep. On the edge is going to be faster. The current's going to be stronger on the edge.
Yeah.
If you're going with the current.
If you're going with the current, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
if you're
against the
swimming
current, you want
against
to
the current
be,
in the middle.
yeah,
Okay.
totally. Yeah, yeah. And there are some, so they will in the race briefing, there is some stuff on the sides of the canal that like they'll tell you to watch out for. It gets pretty shallow in some parts. But it's pretty easy to avoid. Um, and so you can't like super hug the shore, but yeah, the closer you are to the side. And it's also going to, because there's that slight curve on the way back, it's going to be shorter distance as well if you hug the shore around that little curve.
Does it also have standard distance buoys? You know how the Roca buoys have like the yellow ones that are, in a half Ironman, they've got 8 going out yellow and then 8 orange coming back. Like, do they have something similar to that in
I
terms
don't
of
recall.
the
I don't
buoy
recall
size?
in terms of
Yeah,
the
I
buoys.
don't. I also don't recall that there's a measured distance between those buoys.
But obviously they're buoys. Yeah.
Yeah, there are. Oh, yeah, there are definitely buoys all along the center of the race course because that's separating the swimmers from both sides. If there is a current, it is not a significant current. It is not anything really. I don't think most of us would really be impacted that much by the current. There are locks in this canal, and I believe that on race morning they do lock the canal so there's not going to be a whole lot of current in there. They do can control the water flow to some extent in the canal.
All right.
Yeah, and I will say if they do have buoys, knowing the Germans, they are going to be very precisely based.
Yeah, good call on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got? Eli, what's next?
All right. So we talked about this. We've been talking about the swimming, sighting off the wall, staying tight to the buoys. And this is what we've been practicing. So when you get out, you might be a little wobbly after a 2.4 mile swim, and you're running out. It is kind of a rock or cement surface, if I remember, when you're coming out of the water. So just be careful with your footing there. Could be a little wobbly. And get ready to call out your race number. Um, and I put a little note in here, say on your left as you're passing people. But in German, we have auf der linken Seite. So start to practice your German.
Just a note there. Just at the start, you get 250 people around you. Times that by however many age groups there are. There's 2,500 people swimming in the water. You have your wetsuit, your swim skin, the water's warm, whatever. Like there's a chance you might hyperventilate, and this happens to all of us, right? We have athletes who've been racing for 30 years. It's still happening to them. It's where you lose your breath, your carbon dioxide builds up in your system, and you feel like you're going to die, right? And this is a common thing that happens at the beginning of big mass start races. If it happens, you just relax, you let your breathing settle down, you float for a minute, maybe you get on your back, and then you slowly ease back into your stroke, right? Don't think you're going to go right back to race pace from that. It's something that happens at the beginning, but it's something to look out for, right? I just want to be prepared. If you hyperventilate at the start of the race, it happens, right? You slowly ease back into the stroke. Your day's not over. 5 minutes later, you forget that it even happened. But just something to look out for in these big mass start races. All right, guys? So that's my 2 cents on that. Thanks, Eli.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have one more thing to add. Fran actually reminded me. They have some very strict rules, and even Ironman has rules, but you can't have anything if it's a non-wetsuit swim, you can't have anything below your elbows or below your knees on your skin. You can't have KT tape on. You can't have compression sleeves on. You can't have anything on I asked a race official last year because I had an injury, and he said, no, you can't have that. You have to get special permission from the referees if you used anything like KT tape or anything like that on exposed skin below your knees or elbows, if it's a non-wetsuit swim, just to be aware of.
Beautiful. All right, cool. Off der linken seat.
Yeah, auf der linken Seite. Okay, transition one. Okay, like I said, as soon as you get out of the water, you call out your race number, get your red bag, you run into the changing tent. You should be pulling your wetsuit down as you're running. If you need to wear socks on the bike, definitely do this. Take the time to put them on. It's only going to take you, a few seconds to get those things on. So don't be overly hasty. You got to stay in control when you're going through T1. If you try to rush it too much, you just fumble and it'll end up taking you longer. So take a deep breath, put on your gear, get out of the tent, find your bike, run to the mountain line, and then start your race.
Beautiful. All right, brings us to the bike, right?
Brings us to the
Here
bike.
we go.
All right. And obviously this is like epic. It's a beautiful bike course, 112 miles, a two-loop course. In German they drive the same as we do here, so you got to stay right at all times. There will be cars on the road. Not a lot of traffic for the most part. You will not be passed by cars unless they're ambulances or race officials, motorcycles, things like that. But other than that, the course is very clean. Beautiful road surface, very smooth, fast road surface. There's well marked, everything is well marked on the course. That's it. We have a couple of things I'll go over on the next slide here, about the course, some bike notes. Obviously, this is your race intensity. You're doing a two-loop course here. So the goal would be to stay in control for that first loop. We're trying to keep that first loop under control. Don't spike your effort. Know, what your FTP is that you want to try to do for the climb, your heart rate, whatever you're using as your guide. 65% to 75% of your max is what you want to use on the bike course. It's very easy on this bike course to get excited and go really fast. And the reason for that is the crowds. They're going to be cheering you on, and sometimes that gives you all this, motivation to ride really fast. You can easily blow up on that first loop, and your second loop will be a long drag. So you really want to maintain control through the first loop of the course, and stay at a comfortable cadence. Try to keep from spiking your power. There's a couple of climbs. We'll talk about those climbs. And the key is to just keep everything under control, keep it steady through that entire first loop. And then you'll know on the second loop whether or not you can, increase your intensity a little bit based on how you feel. Trying to stay aero as much as you can. Obviously, on the climbs, you're going to be sitting up. There's no real aero advantage on some of the climbs. We'll talk about, how long these climbs are and, what to expect. Like we say here, break this distance down. Take it, 5-10 miles at a time. Don't overthink the whole course. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Stay in the moment. Stay on your nutrition. Have a nutrition timing. I do every 10 minutes. I actually have it set on my garment to remind me every 10 minutes to take a sip. So, do whatever you need to do to stay hydrated and fueled throughout this bike.
Yeah, I was talking to JP who did it last year, Commander JP,
Oh.
and he said, the first loop, it's just packed with people. They're everywhere. You get all amped up, you crush it up the climb. And then the second loop, everybody's went to the run course, all the fans, and there's nobody out there, and you're dying because you went too hard on that first loop. really, really be patient and rein it in on the first loop. Because the second loop, when there's nobody out there, the adrenaline's not pumping, it gets to be a long second loop if you went too hard on the first. So really be cognizant of the effort. In the next month, practice that Ironman effort, practice that Ironman feel, that mindfulness, and just know exactly where you're going to be on race day.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to warn everybody about is when you come out of transition, there's a flat road, you make a quick right turn, and then you're going up over a bridge, which is the bridge that goes over the canal. And then right at the other side of the bridge, you're going to be making a left-hand turn. When you're going over the bridge, it feels like, oh, already you feel like you're climbing. This is, don't overcook it on the climb. That first little, half mile, do not overcook it there. Just settle in, take it slow, get over the bridge. Because as soon as you get over the bridge, you're going to be making a left-hand turn. And from there, for the next 5 miles, it's going to be super fast. I'm talking, you could do speeds over 30 miles an hour easily on that part of the course. So with that in mind, at about 2 kilometers into the bike course, or about 1.2 miles from the start, there is a very sharp curve. And I'm telling you from personal experience that this is one that you really have to watch out for. And you're going to be coming through this curve 3 times during the race. So just be cognizant of it. The first time through, you'll see, and then the next time you'll know what to expect. But that first one, make sure you're aware of that first curve. All right, then as we're riding, the course rolls. So there's short climbs throughout. It's a rolling course. The first major climb that you're going to see is the Gretting climb. And you'll first see this at about 40 kilometers or 24, a little over 24 and a half miles into the course. Is when you're going to hit this climb. You're going to be making a left-hand turn, and as soon as you make that left-hand turn, there's going to be like a, really steep pitch. It's going to just hit you all of a sudden. You're going to make this left-hand turn and slam into a really steep pitch. It's going to be really important for that climb that you do not try to just race up that climb. There's going to be a lot of people there. So just get into your easiest gear, anticipate that with that left-hand turn, get into an easy gear and start slow up the climb. Try to keep your power under control. And as you're climbing, you can gradually start to pick up your power, but start easy and work into it slowly. And again, you're going to be passing that same climb again at about 120 kilometers or 75 miles into the bike course. Solar Hill. This is the one everybody's, has heard so much about, seen pictures about. This first time is at 43 and a half miles. And there's probably going to be a banner there this time you're going to be making a right-hand turn into this street where all of a sudden the road opens up and into this massive crowd of people, and it's just an unbelievable scene. Right before you make that turn, there's going to be a banner that you're probably going to go under. Last year the banner said, "Hold on to your seats," because this is where it's all going to get really exciting. And you're going to make that turn. You're going to see the crowds, and it's going to funnel. It's going to be wide. There's going to be a lot of fencing around, and then it's going to gradually narrow down into this single lane climb. Again, this is a little bit steeper, this climb, but it's a shorter climb. Again, the same thing. It's very easy to spike your power on the Solar Hill. This is where you want to just take it in. Smile at the people, appreciate the high fives everybody's giving you, take it, soak it in and just ease your way up. Don't worry about the people behind you. It doesn't matter. It's single file. You do what you need to do and just race your race. And again, you'll pass that again at about 96 miles into the course. Again, it's a really fast road surface. Make sure you use an appropriate tire pressure. If you don't know how much air to put in your tires, I put a link there for the Silka tire pressure calculator. It's a great tool to use. It tells you, exactly what you should use based on your weight, your bike weight, the road surface, and the type of tires you're using. Great tool to dial in your air pressure.
All right, Rach, what do you got on the bike course? The Eli didn't cover. You're muted. You're muted. There you go.
Yeah, I was just looking up those two climbs to see um, how big they are because I don't recall precisely. But it looks like that grading climb is about 3.7K.
The Gretting climb, I have that. I have it as about 3.9 miles.
Okay, all right.
3.9 miles now. But it's only the first mile, first 9/10 of a mile that is a significant climb. Then it levels off. It's still uphill, but it's not nearly as steep at that point. But it is just a long grind, about 3.9 miles total in length before you can come down the other side.
Yeah. And I will say with the Solarberg Hill, you're not even going to realize how long it is because the crowd is just going to be insane and it will be entertaining you the entire way up. It is like nothing you have ever experienced before. I mean, I will say that, like, yes, there are these climbs on this course, but it is an incredibly fast course. Like, there's a reason why the world records have been set on this course. It's a little bit hilly, but again, I'm going to reiterate what Eli said. It is beautiful. It is hands down one of my favorite bike courses of all time in the iron distance racing. And yeah, just really soak it in, soak in the crowds. But also don't forget about nutrition and hydration. Like, really stay on top of that.
Rach, when you're going into an Ironman or Ironman distance, are you looking at power? Are you looking at heart rate, just feel? What do you go off of when you're planning your bike out?
I mean, I do a lot of training by feel. For Ironman, iron distance racing, I definitely have a power target that I'm trying to look at. And I know that, a certain number of minutes outside, like higher out of my power zone, is going to start burning matches. That's going to affect me in the run. So, even though those climbs are, like again, what Eli said, you don't want to really overdo it on those climbs. They're long enough that you can burn a lot of matches on them if you really want to. And so really building into the climbs, cresting over the top, maintaining your momentum up and over, but really not like burning all of the matches on them. You got a long way to go, and the run has, the last 10K of the run, as we will get to. It's one you need to save some strength for.
Love it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Eli,
Yeah.
what do you got?
So one more thing on the bike course at about mile 46, there is a downhill section again that is very fast. You could see speeds easily over 30 miles an hour here. And there's a set of 3 hairpin turns that are about 5K, a 0.5, like half a kilometer apart, each of these 3 turns. And they're like 3, complete switchbacks. So just be really careful of that. The first time through, you'll see them coming up. This is one area of the bike course where there are some trees and some shade. It's a very fast section of the course for a few miles here, and you'll recognize it the next time through. So once you experience it the first time, you'll know when it's approaching the second time when you hit that same wooded section of the course. But they are pretty sharp turns, and you'll be going pretty fast. So just be aware. It's probably the most technical part of the bike course.
Great. All right, what do we got?
All right, now we're coming into T2. So they have bike catchers in T2. They're awesome. They take care of you. You did not put your run bag here. They put it there for you. So again, this is when you're going to have to get off your bike and start calling out your race number. And somebody's going to hand you your bag. They actually have volunteers inside the transition tent. You're going to be sitting there and somebody is going to be helping you to pull the gear out of your bag for you. They'll hand you your socks. They'll hand you your running shoes. They'll hand you anything that you put in that bag. They're going to hand it to you and help you get in and out of there as fast as possible. It's truly both of these transitions are amazing at how much support you're going to get in these transition areas and how quickly you can do these transitions. Remember, you just want to get in there, do your change, and get out. There's nothing for you to think about. There's nothing for you to do in that changing tent other than get your running shoes on and get out on the course.
The
Nothing
reason
else.
we say that, sure, maximizes your time, but it minimizes your time to think, right? The more you sit down, the more you get comfortable, the more you think, the more you say, oh my God, I have to run a freaking marathon right now. How am I going to do this? Get your shoes on, get the hell out of there. It gives you less time to think. That's one quote I heard a coach say last year. I forget which podcast it was on, but he said nothing good happens in T2, and I've been using it ever since.
Yeah. With what Jim said, the two times that I think most people experience a lag in their day in an Ironman is at the end of the bike and at the beginning of the run. So you don't want to put any additional time there. You want to just keep the momentum going and get in, change, and go because that's going to be your lowest point. And once you get out on the course, now's the time to regroup, get focused, and get on with the run.
Well said.
Okay, so at the beginning of the run, like I just said, find your focus. Your legs might be a little heavy at times. At the beginning, just focus on your cadence. Things will loosen up. Just practice what you've been doing in training and take it 1 mile at a time or 1 kilometer at a time. You're going to see more kilometer signs on the run course than you're going to see mile signs. So remember that so you can kind of figure out where you are on the run course.
Well, we always talk about splitting it up into smaller segments, right? And kilometers are better because they're going to come quicker, right? So you have these little checkpoints every whatever it is, 6, 7 minutes, where you're just running one to the next to the next. Before you know it, you're at 35K. You don't look at it as 42 kilometers of running. You look at it as, okay, I'll run the first kilometer to the second kilometer to the third, and before you know it, you're deep into the run. But we don't start at kilometer one and say, how the hell am I going to get to kilometer 42? You say, I'm going to run kilometer one, go to number two, go to number three, and just bite-sized pieces. How do you eat a Chevy, right? A teaspoon at a time.
There you go. So looking at that run profile there on the bottom here where my cursor is, when you get out of T2, there's an initial little downhill, very short little downhill, and then there's a slight uphill to get back to the canal where you're going to be doing a majority of your running on the run course. You're going to be running along the same canal that you were swimming in, and you're going to be on that canal for about 25 kilometers or about 15 and a half miles of the run course. And let me get to the canal. The first 25K is out and back in two directions. It's compacted dirt and gravel. It's actually a very nice surface to run on. It's a little dusty, but it's actually a little easier on your legs than running on asphalt or concrete. So you'll find that, this first 15 miles should save your legs for what's to come later on when you have to do the next 8 miles of your course. The aid stations are about every mile or 1.2 kilometers. There is a hill. I named it Heartbreak Hill, but it's because, just like at Boston, it's right at about mile 20 into the run where we're going to be hitting a little hill at the end. It's about a mile in length, this incline. And this is where there's a lot of walking going on. So if you are still training and preparing for this race, my suggestion is to start doing some runs and ending your runs, your long runs, with an uphill if you have that. If you have somewhere you can do a run course and start practicing running uphill on those tired legs, it's going to make a big difference come the end of this course. The Then after you get up, you're running up this hill, then there's a turnaround point there. You're going to come back down the same hill. It's going to be a pretty fast downhill into the back into the stadium finish, which again is epic. As epic as Solar Hill is when you were riding on the bike. It's an amazing thing. Relay team members, I put a note here for you guys. At about 500 kilometers from the finish, there is a meeting place, and all three relay team members can run into the stadium together. So it's kind of a nice way to finish out this day and experience that stadium finish. Um, it's important before we get into it's really important on this run course, particularly the section out on the canal. There are not a lot of spectators out there. This is where you are running just with the other athletes on the course and the people at the aid stations. And it is a little bit like tunnel vision. You're just going to be looking down this long dirt path and you're going to be saying, where's the turnaround? Where's the turnaround? It hasn't come yet. So your mind has to be focused on your running. You can't be looking for that turnaround point. You just have to get into your rhythm, stay focused, pay attention to your running technique, form points, anything that you need to do to focus on that run, because if you're just looking down that dirt path, it's never going to be ending. So this is a time when you're out there, by yourself, in your own mind running on that course. Once you get to the 25-kilometer mark and you get back out off of the canal, then the crowds are there and you're going to get a big boost of energy from the cheering crowds, and you're going to be able to pick things up again. But it's important to stay focused on that long drag.
And that's what we want to practice right now. In the next 3.5 weeks while you're out there on your long runs, practice where's your mind going to go when it starts to wander? Like, how are you going to bring it back to present and stay focused on the process? Rach, what's your take? What do you got?
The other thing I wanted to mention on the run course is in town, you're going to be running on cobblestones. And especially like on tired legs, this is going to be a little bit tough and disorienting. So just keep a heads up for that. That can be challenging, especially if you're like really suffering, especially coming back into town right before the stadium finish. You still got to make it through town on those cobbles. So, yeah, just be prepared for that. A little bit of an uneven service.
Beautiful. Well said. Anything else on the run? We're good. Eli hit it all for you, Rach?
I think, unless anybody has any questions about the run, I think we're good.
Yeah, the other thing, I wanted to really reiterate is like that head out to Buchenbach in the last 10K of the run. It's like if there's anywhere for the run to get hard, it's going to be at 32K at that 20-mile mark. And there's a giant hill. There's a long section of uphill and sort of rolling up, generally uphill on that. And that is, as said, where you really need to focus a lot of your mental energy and just really be mentally prepared for that, because it will take a lot of people out for sure.
Yeah, you're going to see people walking there, but if you can manage to keep yourself moving steadily up that hill, it's going to make a big difference. The average grade there is probably between 1.8 to 3% max on that grade, so it's not like a ridiculously steep climb. It's just that it's a long climb.
And it's at mile 20, so you're on tired legs. It feels it's 2%, but it feels like 20%.
Did you say, Eli, that that's a mile long climb?
It's approximately a mile. Yeah, I don't remember if it's 9/10 or 1.1 miles, something like that, but it's about a mile to be prepared for.
I have one other question about the run. Since this race doesn't have special needs, is there a good aid station on the run to meet support to get special needs if you need that? Like,
yeah, so it's a good point. I'm glad you asked that and mentioned that. So uh, we can, if you have support crews that are there, they have to be, I believe it's 100 meters at the end of any of the aid stations.
Yeah.
They could be there to give you, whatever you need. So if you have special needs and you want somebody to be there with your own nutrition or something like that, they have to be 100 meters after the aid stations. And the aid stations, like I said, are about 1.2 miles apart, 1.2 kilometers apart on the run course. So the canal, it probably won't be practical. So the best place would be, maybe right before that climb. The last aid station before that climb might be the best place if you want to have something right there. That would be the time to meet your support crew.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say it depends on how mobile your support crew is. I know that I had folks meet me around the halfway mark, which is there's an aid station there, and it's close to the intersection of where you kind of go out south along the canal and then north and then go back into town. And so that's like around the halfway mark that could be helpful, but it's just your crew has to be able to get out there. So if they have, bikes or something like that that they can well, then it's a great place to get out there. There's still a lot of folks out there cheering around that part too.
Beautiful.
Okay, so it sounds like the halfway point aid station, if they can get there, or the aid station before the climb at mile 20.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, so let's just talk a little bit more about nutrition. We talked about, how often, and you should know by now what kind of nutrition you need, how many carbs you're going to take per hour, how much hydration you need. Jim mentioned, Precision 1500, but if you need to take in what they have on course, it's from Power Bar and it's called ISO, and it's a lemon flavor. And I can tell you that if they mix it properly, it's about 30 grams of carbs. Well, they give it to you in 25-ounce bottles on the bike course. And so it's mixed at a rate of about 30 grams of carbs per 500 mil, and they give it to you in a 750 mil bottle. So you're getting about 45 grams of carbs in that bottle. So if you're not used to drinking your carbs, that could be an issue. So if that's not going to work for you, then you want to consider taking water, and whether you need to use a salt tab or something that you can, get your own sodium from, then you drink your water and get your electrolytes that way.
Just remember, if you guys are taking gels and then you start piling on carbohydrates, sugars on top of that, and we have the heat, it's going to be hot out there, right? So a lot of the blood is going to your skin to cool you, less blood to digest what's in your gut. All those carbs sit there. That's what causes that duress, that bloating, that gassy diarrhea feeling is if there's too much sugar in your stomach and there's not enough blood in there to process it and it's not watered down enough. So take that into consideration. If you are drinking those carbohydrates, you're taking gels, you can do that, but you've got to really balance it out with a ton of straight water as well, right? To bring that concentration of sugars in your stomach down so it actually can process out of your gut into your bloodstream. Otherwise, it's too concentrated. It sits there and causes that duress. So think about all this stuff in the next 3.5 weeks. Write out your nutrition plan. And if you need to go over with your coaches or with a coach, we got plenty of coaches on here that are willing to speak it, talk it through. Maybe you don't have anybody to talk to it about. Reach out to Eli, reach out to Rach, reach out to Cindy, reach out to one of these coaches that are on here, and we can help you through that nutrition plan. Because you do all this training, you don't want to get out there on race day and all of a sudden, poop the bed literally because you didn't have your nutrition dialed in. Go ahead, Eli. Sorry. That was my
Yeah,
soap.
no, that's I welcome anybody to chime in about their nutrition, because it's something that you definitely want to manage for this race. It's going to be so key. Yeah.
Do they have
Let's say,
sponges at this race?
I'm sorry.
Do they have sponges?
I don't remember sponges. This race, I know Jim keeps saying it's going to be hot out there, but from my experience last year, the weather actually was not that unbearable. It was not that
It's been
hot.
it's been cool the past week and rainy even.
Right. And that is another good point about the rain. There was a little bit of spotter rain last year when I raced. And the one thing you want to be careful about with the rain is that this road surface, when you're on the bike, the road surface is very smooth. So if the road surface gets really wet, it can get slippery. So you have to be very careful of that when you're, taking your turns on the wet roads there. Um, Also, the wind can change. On my first loop, it was pretty much, I didn't really experience any wind. On the second loop, I had wind a good majority of the ride. So that was definitely a factor on the second loop. So, we'll pay attention to the weather and see what's happening, before race day so we know what to
Right
expect.
now it's showing 90s for next weekend.
Yeah.
So
Of
there's
course,
that.
Murphy's Law. Expect to be
Yeah.
7,000 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good point. Good point there, Eli. Know your heart rate. Know your power zones. Don't plan to go off of speed because you don't know what the wind's going to do. You don't know what the rain's going to do. You don't know what the weather's going to be. So don't say I'm going to set my speedometer. I want to go 21 miles an hour. Go off of heart rate. Go off of power. Go off of feel. Don't worry about speed. Go ahead, Eli.
Yeah, so we already discussed this about, holding your effort, don't overcook anything, don't spike your power, break the ride down into shorter segments. You're going to be sitting up when you climb, push over the top of the climbs and descend. There's going to be some fast downhills, some fast sections on the course. You'll make up that time. So just ease on the hills. And we've been talking about this already. Light on your feet, pay attention to what you're doing out there. You may want to, think about shortening your stride, keeping your cadence high on this run course. Finish strong.
You guys are not going to feel good for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Stick with it. Keep moving forward. You just swam 4K, you rode God knows how long, 112 miles. You come out of T2 and you're not going to feel good. Keep moving forward, keep the legs moving. 15, 20 minutes in, you're going to feel it. You're going to forget that you swam and biked and you're going to be into your marathon, but you got to persevere through that uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah. We have a big group going, so there's going to be a lot of support, both from the crowds there, which are amazing, the and our own team of people that are going to be there. This is one of the largest groups that have been together at Roth, and I think that you're going to be seeing each other out there on the course, and high-fiving each other and giving each other motivation as we pass each other on the course. It's going to be great to see everybody out there.
As those miles add up, guys, just remember you are gonna be your brain is gonna be saying, "Why are you doing this? This is a stupid walk. Back it down. Don't do this anymore. You're hurting." Expect that and just say, know how to turn it off and know how to drive through the pain. Focus back on the present and keep moving forward. You can walk aid station to aid station if you need to, but just know that you're going to be challenged mentally as those miles add up. As you get to the wall, as you get to that 20, that hill at mile 20, you're going to be much happier with yourself at that finish line if you ran through that adversity as opposed to succumb to that bad wolf and said, you know what, I am going to walk like everybody other, like every other nudnik out here. No, put your head down and focus and push through that pain. It's going to pipe up. I guarantee it. All right, Eli.
What did you call them? A nudnuk?
Nudnik. Yeah.
I
Nudnik.
want
Nudnik.
to I want to write that down.
Uh,
That's a funny word.
yeah. All right. Go ahead, Eli.
All right, so this is it. This is what Jim was just talking about. All right, just remember to manage your electrolytes. The most important thing is make sure you get them in early before the race. This is a good point here that on the slide here that if you're feeling lethargic, you're wandering, you're low on electrolytes, get them, and it'll give you a little supercharge.
A lot
Pay
of times,
attention.
like mile 80, you feel like you want to take a nap. You're low on electrolytes, right? Why am I riding right now and I want to fall asleep on my handlebars? It's because you're low on electrolytes.
Yeah, if you stay on your nutrition, hopefully you can avoid this. But if it happens, make sure, you'll say to yourself, well, damn, I missed three of my drink stops that I wanted to take, or I missed a water bottle at an aid station. Get it in and catch up with your nutrition. Don't fall behind.
What kind of food can you buy there? That's, you know what I
In,
mean?
in, well,
Goulash.
Yeah, goulash. You could, Jim, I think you can find just about anything that you need. If you're, I don't know where most of you are staying, a few people are staying in Roth. It's a little bit more limited in Roth. It's a small village, small hamlet there. There's not a lot in Roth itself, but in Nuremberg, where a majority of the athletes will be staying, you have access to grocery stores, great restaurants, whatever you need. You can find what you want there.
Beautiful.
If you have anything special, you might want to think about bringing it. If you have a special food that you want for breakfast, or something that you need, a snack that is, that you're partial to, put it in your suitcase and bring it along.
All
I
right, what do we
will
got next?
add, yeah, too, that generally, like eating out, particularly in Roth, is going to be more kind of like meaty, high fat foods. So if that's something that you're not into, then yeah, being prepared to camp it if you're in a hotel or in Nuremberg, there's a lot more options.
Thank you. Yeah. With that in mind, if you're in Nuremberg, if you're not with RaceQuest or Try Travel, and you're negotiating this whole week or a couple days of time there in Germany on your own, you got a rental car or something like that you're going to be using to get around. The logistics are a little bit complicated. You're going to have, it's about a 25-minute drive from Nuremberg to Roth and the different venues there. The swim start is in a different location. Everything is kind of spread apart. So, study their maps. They do have a lot of shuttles this year. They have shuttles for everybody, spectators, athletes. There's a lot of more shuttles available than they've ever had before. So you can get around without the rental car. But if you do take a rental car, just be wary that there's going to be a lot of traffic on the roads the mornings of the bike check-in of race morning. So you got to plan for that and know where you're going, know the route to get to the parking lots that you want to go to. Other than that, I think unless you guys have questions, I think we covered a lot here.
Yeah, we definitely did. We're running long on time, which is great. We
Yeah.
got a lot of great info here, but Rach, any closing thoughts from you?
No, I'm excited to be there. I'm excited we've got such a good big group going. Hopefully we can organize some social stuff, or at least like I'll see you out on course because I'm just swimming. So I'm going to be cheering the rest of the day and having a good time.
Hey,
I'll
Audra, I don't know.
cheers you with my beer on the run.
You're
Oh, so
you're
great.
you're gonna run out to the canal so we can see you on the canal.
Audra, can
Yeah.
you add Rach to that WhatsApp group?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
Yes, I'll add you right
And
away.
then yeah, Eli, is that the last slide?
I think so. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, guys, so feel free to share this. I'll put this on YouTube too, but feel free to share this with whoever you want to share this. Eli, that was his first lead on one of these race calls. So Eli, really great work, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you all for
you.
taking the
Thank you.
time to do
Thank
this. Really appreciate it.
Get your bike
thank you.
styled in. Get your bike styled in. Think about how you're going to set up your hydration, how you're going to set up your nutrition, and start doing all this stuff right now. On one of those slides, I put the cassette. Think about what cassette you have on the back on the rear wheel. Make sure you have a climbing cassette on there. Know how to change a flat tire. Have your flat tire stuff on the bike. Any other questions? Are we good? Anything else from anybody? Cindy, where's Cindy? Cindy, anything else that we missed? Cindy did the race 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
10
Cindy's
years ago, almost 8 years ago. Yeah, I did it 8 years ago, and it was by far my favorite race. The current race that you talked about, I'm not sure where it was, but I got to start at the beginning, and every 5 minutes I had fast people going by me, so I had a draft the whole time. It was awesome. Everybody just went by, and I grabbed feet for whatever I could, and it worked really, really well. I think I felt maybe it was the draft, maybe not, but the current I think is on the way out. But I ended up on the side, and it felt good. So
Yep.
anyway, and just honestly, guys, practice the hills on that thing, on the race, do it last, because I didn't know that was coming, and by far it just took me out mentally. I still had a good run, but it was really, really tough.
So put some
So,
runs, put some hills late in your runs just to be prepared mentally and physically as to what's to come on race day.
yep.
Okay. Well said. All right, guys. Hey, any other questions? You know who to reach out to. Reach out to me, Eli, Rach, Cindy. Reach out to one of us. We can answer the questions. If you're listening to this on YouTube or you're in the WhatsApp group, write a question in the WhatsApp group. We'll get everything answered. But we just want you guys to go there prepared, have fun. And it's always tough to go over to Europe and race. The more prepared we can be now and anticipate any issues, the better off we're going to be when we get over there. There's Madeline. All right.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good
All
night.
right. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Eli. Great
Bye.
work, man.
Thank
Rach,
you.
thank you.
Eli. Great job,
Looking,
Eli.
looking forward to seeing everybody in Germany.
You
Thanks,
are.
everyone.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Nice.